Okay, hi everyone. I know that we are after lunch. The focus times are not like in morning time, but I'll try to make it a bit spicy with stories and stuff. Okay, so we are here to talk about incident management, production incidents and how to manage them. And why do we need to talk about incident management? Because everything fails. All the time. Okay? So, by the way, who said this sentence before? If you know, me, throughout my entire career. But I think it's a bit odd to quote myself, so I'm not going to do it. And I found someone who has a little bit more credibility than me in this industry, AWS CTO Werner Vogels. He said it, so take his word for it. Everything fails all the time. Systems that we build, systems that we buy, the monitoring systems that we rely on in order to know what's going on with our production incidents. Everything fails all the time, and this is why we need to know what we need to do with it, how to manage incidents efficiently, etc. So a little bit about myself. Hi, my name is Hila Fish. I'm a DevOps tech lead with over 15 years of experience in the tech industry, which basically means for you guys that I handled a lot of incidents in startups, in enterprises, when I was on call, when I wasn't on call. So I've seen and handled a lot of things, and this is why I'm here to talk to you about it. Okay, so what are we gonna talk about today? We will cover the mindset that is needed in order to manage incidents efficiently. We will cover an incident flow and how we can have a structured process towards managing incidents. We will cover some on-call traits that you should have as an incident manager and how to improve them. And then ultimately we'll talk about how can you be proactive in your day-to-day and after an incident took place in order to come prepared for incidents. Okay, so first of all, just to have this baseline here, what is incident management? So incident management is a set of procedures and actions taken to resolve critical production incidents. Basically, it is an end-to-end process that defines how incidents are detected and communicated, who's responsible to handle them, what tools are used to investigate and respond to them, and what steps are taken towards a resolution. So the first thing that we need to think about is the fact that we need to reframe our perspectives. When we get an incident, we shouldn't be in an ad hoc mindset of let's put out this fire. We need to address it differently. So first of all, it means that we need to understand that not all pages that you get through OpsGenie, PagerDuty, it doesn't matter, not all pages become an incident. When it is an incident, when you have a loss or potential loss in revenues, customers, data, and reputation. And the thing about that is that if we don't have a structured process of incident management, then we could lose valuable data, downtime could lead to reduced productivity and revenues, and the business could be held liable to breach of service level agreements, SLAs. Some companies have 2 nines, 3 nines, 11 nines, whatever. So we have this obligation towards our clients. And when I say reframe our perspective, it means to have a business mindset. And for us, techie people, what does it mean? I, as a DevOps engineer, I love Kubernetes, I love Terraform, I love all this cool stuff, but we don't need to think only about our systems, we need to think about and understand the why. Why are we doing things in a certain way? Why is it need to be handled right now and couldn't wait for business hours? Once we know the why, then we are able to grasp the overall impact of incidents and then mitigate damages accordingly. And this is the reminder, okay? Everything fails all the time, so this is why we need to talk about it. We need to be prepared for incident management. Okay, so when I mentioned the notion of structured process of an incident. What does it mean? How can it be structured? If I have an incident, it's kind of a mayhem, right? You never know what happens, we have a minor thing critical. It feels like everything is all over the place, and it couldn't be structured. So I'm going to show you that it could be structured. And what does it mean? Basically, if we have a structured process, then it could lead to incidents prevention, improved mean time to resolution, MTTR, cost reduction because downtime was reduced or eliminated entirely, and preserve our business, customers, and reputation. So the structure that I'm gonna show you here is this one. I took the structure itself from on page, but this is basically a structure that I followed throughout any incident that I manage. We have 5 pillars here: identify and categorize, notify and escalate, investigate and diagnose, resolve and recovery, and even upon the incident closure itself, we have things to do. So we'll cover each pillar separately. But beforehand, I want to cover, just to mention that throughout my entire career, when I dealt with people doing incidents, there were 2 types of people that I met. One type that said, keep calm, I'm an engineer. And the other type that said, I can't keep calm, I'm an engineer. So I say that it doesn't matter which type you belong to, you can put it aside and keep calm if you ask yourselves the bunch of questions that I will show you for each step that will help you progress towards the incident resolution and make it a structured process. So first pillar, identify and categorize. First question, do I understand the full extent of the problem and the business impact? If so, great, let's dive in, let's notify people, which is the next step. But if not, I need to gather more information in order for me to understand how to address this issue. Because maybe it's not an incident, maybe it is an issue that doesn't really affect customers, data, reputation, etc., and we need to address it differently. Can this wait and be handled in business hours? As I said, we need to gather more information in order to understand lots of things. This is among those things. If you're not sure if this can wait to be handled in business hours, ask. Use the information that you have and escalate if needed in order to make sense with what you got in front of you. And very important, was I notified about this incident issue from the proper or expected channels? Meaning, if I got it from OpsGenie or PagerDuty, great. If I got it from a user complaint, this is bad. So we need to understand that, and if we were notified from a not proper channel, like user complaint, we need to fix that, aka open a Jira ticket or something to investigate it further. Next pillar, notify and escalate. Who should be notified about this incident? So we have 2 paths here, customer-facing and, not 2, 3, customer-facing, internal clients, and management. So customer-facing, if the incident is critical, we need to tell them, hey, we know this system is down, and we are handling it, and we will let you know once it will be up. Internal clients, maybe there are other teams internally that rely on our systems for their internal flows. In that case, we need to tell them, hey, we know your flows are down because of the dependency of our system. We know, and we will let you know once it is fixed. And management needs to know what's going on, so we need to communicate it to them as well. And does this incident need escalation? So here we have 2 paths, other teams and support customer facing. So other teams maybe for resolution, because I checked my side of things, everything looks okay for my end, and then I need other teams to check their end of the chain. So escalate for resolution, and support of customer facing for FYI, hey, we know about this issue, we will let you know once it is fixed. Third pillar, investigate and diagnose. So what information is relevant towards incident resolution? We need to focus on what's important and relevant, and for some of you, it might sound a bit straightforward or obvious, but unfortunately, in my experience, it's not. A lot of people just talk and pull to different directions and raise a whole bunch of information that is not relevant for the crucial path of the incident that we have in front of us. So that's why we need to focus on the relevant information, because focusing on the non-relevant will throw you off route and make you lose valuable time during debugging. And okay, awesome, I checked the information, I debugged a bit, or not a bit, maybe a lot. Did I find the root cause? And if so, do I understand the root cause? If so, great, let's continue. If not, we need to investigate some more and escalate if it takes long. And we also need to prioritize root causes over surface level symptoms, meaning if I got paged on a service on a server that went down, I can start it and that's it, or I can check what made it stopped in the beginning, or to begin with, and then it will help me understand what's going on, because then it could expose underlying issues that could potentially tell me that my system is not healthy as I thought. So root cause is very, very important, and based on the root cause, possible remediation steps can be determined. Fourth pillar, resolve and recovery. Okay, I know the root cause, I determined possible remediation steps. Now, which possible remediation step is the best one to take? So we should choose the fastest solution to eliminate downtime without compromising systems' health and stability. Why fast? Because we want to go back to sleep, if it's in the middle of the night, of course, but also for the business sake, right? We said about business mindset, we need to think about the business whenever we do stuff and we manage incidents. So we need to do things fast to have the service up and running as quickly as possible if it is a mission-critical service. Any action items needed after resolving the issue. For example, if it was the middle of the night, we checked the issues that we have, and we decided to do a patch and not a full-blown solution. If all stakeholders said, yeah, let's do a patch in the middle of the night, all good, but we need to, of course, permanently fix it. So that's about that, but also preventing recurring issue is a priority also for the business, because the business doesn't want to assign more and more resources if it's like human beings that need to sit and fix the issue all over again because something came up over again. So we need to also prevent recurring issues to make not waste resources, but also to make the systems stable. And last but not least, upon the closure of the incident itself, we have a bunch of stuff that we can do here. So did I need to notify anyone on the incident resolution? Because you remember at the beginning, we notified some people about the issue that happened in the first place. Now we need to be an end-to-end communicators and then say, hey, now the issue or the incident got fixed, and basically tell the same people that it got fixed, not only to be end-to-end communicators, but to help us understand if the issue is indeed handled. Because maybe we saw that everything is okay, but you never know, in Germany or other country in the EU or US, something still is not working properly. So the fact that we communicate that we think everything should be okay, please test and let us know if it is the case, it could also help us understand and determine if the issue is indeed fully fixed. Were the alerts that we had okay, or do we need to tweak them? Because if you got false positives or even not, maybe alerts that you should have gotten and you didn't got them, then we need to revisit and make sure that we have all the alerts defined to get a good picture of what's going on. Incident runbooks. Do have relevant incident runbooks in place? And if you don't know, let me cover what are incident runbooks. So basically, these are procedures or like processes that you should do whenever you have an incident that you need to, let's say, exercise some judgment about it. So if this happens, do X, but if this happens coupled with X, Y, Z, you need to do something else. So anything that requires judgment or requires multiple steps that can't really get automated, then runbooks are a very good place to address them. So if you have incident runbooks, make sure they are up to date, because I had cases where I had a runbook and I was able to complete it until midway, and then it wasn't relevant anymore. So make sure it is not outdated, and make sure that you have runbooks, and if not, write them after the incident. Again, this is why it's in the closure step. So not only for you, because let's say it is a recurring issue or something similar will happen, you wouldn't remember what happened or how you fix it in a couple of months later, or your team members. So runbooks are a good way to share knowledge and focus people on what to do on certain incidents that you have. Can I help prevent similar or basically any incidents from occurring? So because maybe I had an incident, it was about X, but doing this X, I checked servers that I have, and I saw that disk space is running out. I'm checking Y, and I see that there is no log rotate on the server, for example. So stuff that you find out during the investigation, or anything that you can think about that could help preventing any issues or stabilize the environment, this is the place to create tickets. Some might go to backlog, but some might get prioritized and be dealt in the next sprint. And does this incident requires a post-mortem? Post-mortem is a meeting, usually when you have a critical incident that needs to be discussed to understand if what happened, did we handle it properly? Can we learn from this experience? So this is very important. Postmortem should be a learn culture and not blame. If it is blame culture, go away from this company. You don't want to be there. So if this incident requires a postmortem, jot down the notes as soon as possible while it is still fresh in your mind. But even if this doesn't require a postmortem because it wasn't critical enough, still share the knowledge with your team members, with your department, through a runbook or through a daily brief. Everyone can learn from your line of thought, learn the system flow out of this incident, so it will be a win-win for everyone. Okay, now I want to cover here a bit about war room conduct. War room is when you have an incident that requires, let's say, more than 4 or 5 people, usually cross teams from different teams. The incident is very critical, cross-wide, and we need to manage it efficiently, and that's why all the people sit together in one room or during COVID times in one Zoom, and then need to fix it together. So when I talk about war room conduct, I will talk about it through a story. So in one of my previous companies, it was during COVID times. I was new at the company, just a month in, and we had a very critical incident. So I was new, like a month, so I just decided to join the Zoom just to be a fly on the wall, listen, and learn from this experience. And then I joined, and then he talks about that, and she talks about that, and everyone is pulling to different directions, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm seeing that like 10 minutes, 12 minutes in, nothing happens, nothing progress towards resolution. So I felt like I had to do something. So I unmuted myself. I said, hi, I'm Hila, for those of you who don't know me. Let me try and help you in this incident because I feel like it's a bit stuck. And basically, I took upon myself the role of being an incident manager. So the one thing that I do is basically share or divide the work between the people that were there. For example, someone mentioned that whenever the issue gets fixed, we need to start the application in a certain order for it to work properly. And then I asked this person, hey, do you have a runbook for this order? And they said no. And why is it important? Because we don't know when the incident will be resolved. If this person is not available when the incident is resolved, we can't wait for them, right? We need to fix it now. We need to start the application now. So I told them, you sit down, write a runbook so anyone can know how to start the application in the order and not wait for you. And then I basically divided the work based on the stuff that I heard. And then stuff started to progress towards resolution. So an incident manager, especially in a war room, is very, very important. They should divide the work, tell people what to do in a calm and collected manner, see things clearly, and not afraid to reduce people's involvement if it doesn't serve the purpose. Because if there are too many people, it's too noisy, especially if it is physical. So there are people that get stressed if they sit down and they're on the keyboard, and then someone is like, you know, they stand above them and say, look what they do. And yeah, they're interested, but it gets this person stressed out. So some people are like this, some not. It doesn't matter. If you helped during the war room and you did a certain thing and you're not needed anymore, thank you so much, go away, and we will call you if we need you again. So it's really important to keep it contained. Okay, now I want to cover 10 necessary qualities that I think that are necessary for being an incident manager. Of course, there are much more than just 10, but these are the ones that I thought are worthwhile to mention, and I'm going to show and share ideas of how to improve those qualities in the long run. So first of all, think on your feet. Be an impromptu action taker. Sometimes the incident or the issue that you will face is something that you are familiar with, and sometimes it will be something in an uncharted territory. You need to think on your feet and be ready for anything. Easier said than done, right? So I have a way to practice that. You can participate in brainstorming sessions at work. So these kind of sessions are basically like ping-pong scenarios where he said something and she said something, and then it provokes different thoughts. These kind of sessions could help you train this impromptu action taker trait, and then during the actual money time, when incident happen, you'll be able to more to think on your feet if when there's something is happening. So that's about that. Differentiate relevant and irrelevant information. I said it before, I'm repeating it now because I can't stress enough how many times it happened where everyone just talked and talked and talked and didn't really share the information that I need in order to really check whatever is needed. So differentiation of information is very, very important. And how do you practice it? By learning system flows. So the more you know how a system works, the more your ability to separate the relevant from the non-relevant information increases. Operate under pressure. I have a nice story about that too. So in another company that I worked for, I was also new. I don't know why these things kept happening to me when I'm new, but it is. So I was new, also a month in, and I joined pretty early to the on-call rotation. And then I had a very critical incident, like 300 alerts easy on pager duty. So I tried like really 2 minutes to assess the situation, but I'm new. It's very easy, very hard for me to understand what's going on. Then I called, it was during regular office times, I called my buddy to sit next to me and help me fix or understand what's going on in the incident. So I remember I'm sitting here, looking at the two screens, talking, looking at the two screens, just saying, I checked this and this, okay, now what? And then, that's it, like crickets, nothing. And then I look at the guy, and he's shocked. He's shocked, he's looking at the two screens, he's like, so many alerts, what to do? So many alerts. He was totally shocked, okay? And he was like 2 years in the office, in the role. So, and then I told him, dude, snap out of it. It doesn't really help us. We need to continue, right? So that's the thing. Pressure happens, especially you have a bunch of hideous alerts attacking you from the screen. It does and could happen, but there's a way to deal with it. And the way is to collect relevant information, because when you know what to do, you are in control. So collection of relevant data will help you decrease stress levels, because once you know what to do, you're in control. And if you gather information, it will help you with debugging and also to set things in motion and relieve pressure levels, because once you're in the motion of doing things, then automatically the stress levels will decrease. Work methodical. It will help you to gain faster incident resolution. As we know, time is of the essence, and there is a pressure to solve things fast. Methodical work will help you gain faster incident resolution. And how do you practice methodical incident resolution? I just show you the structure. You remember with the lines and not the beautiful lines, but I'm a DevOps engineer. I don't know how to do things beautiful, just to make them work. So just a structure. Follow the structure, and then it will help you know how to progress from one step to another. And trust me, follow this, and it will help you gain faster incident resolution. Okay, this one I really, really like. Be humble. If you are stuck, please ask for help, okay? Because once you are in a situation of managing an incident, it's not your time to shine. You have a lot of other times in your line of work to shine, to showcase what you're able to do. But during an incident, the most important thing is not you, it's the company, and the ability to make things work again as quickly as possible. And it is okay not to know how to fix an issue on your own. Nobody knows everything. But that's the idea. If you don't know what to do, all good, escalate to someone to help you fix this issue. And how do you do it? Because some people doesn't really feel comfortable with asking for help. How do we help them improve that? So basically, make a habit out of it. Meaning that if, let's say you have a Jira ticket in your day-to-day, 10 minutes in, you are not sure what to do, ask people. Don't just try and read the documentation or whatever you usually do to figure it out by yourself. Make a habit out of it, ask people, train this way of asking for help, and then also in the money time, it will help you be more inclined to ask for help when you have an incident that you don't know what to do with it. Problem solver, do whatever is needed, which basically means that if you have something, you need to have a go-to way of fixing it, and like, let's check this, let's check that. And I also have a mini story about that. I wasn't on call, I was just minding my own business, and then my colleague came to me and said, hey, we have an incident X, I'm not sure what to do, help me. And then I wasn't sure either, but I had some leads that I suggested to them. So I suggested those leads, and then the other person just told me, I don't feel it's related. It doesn't feel related. And I'm like, okay, but you came to me. You don't have any other leads, right? So let's set things in motion and try to fix it, okay? So if you have other leads, awesome. But since you don't feel, think, okay? And let's try to fix it. So have a can-do approach. If people suggest you ideas or leads to fix an issue, go with it and be positive and open to it. Sense of ownership and initiative. Also another story, I was on call, I got an alert, I checked my side of things, nothing really seemed related to my end of things, and then I found there was an issue with the database. And at that company, we had a different team that handled the databases. So it was, unfortunately, 2 a.m. I called this person and said, hi, sorry to wake you up. We have an issue with DBX, application Z trying to communicate, AKA, straight to the point, just give the information that they need. And then he told me on the phone, okay, I'll check it. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 12 minutes, nothing happens. I have no idea if he maybe got back to sleep. Is he fixing it? I have no idea. So that's the whole point of having a sense of ownership and initiative. Yeah, I know we are all grown-ups, and if I did escalation, it's on him or them to fix it, but that's the whole purpose of ownership. We are all human beings. Maybe he got back to sleep, he fell back to sleep, okay? Like, not on purpose. It could happen. So it is on me, since I got the alert, I need to be a full owner on this incident to make sure it is being handled. Even if it's not me that handled it, I need to make sure it is handled. So I pinged them on Slack, hey, are you on it? Yes, yes, okay. Tell me, do you need some help? No, okay, good. Then I just pinged them and basically checked statuses to make sure it is being handled and not falling through the cracks. Good communicator. So we need to have good communication throughout the entire incident lifecycle to explain the issues to others helping out, communicate the issue for escalation purposes, for customer engineers, the whole works. So we need to have good communication, but again, not everyone are able to communicate properly. It's not a go-to for them, so we can help them. Communication guidelines can be established, meaning that we can actually set up a process of what channels should be used, what content is expected to be done in those channels, and how communication should be documented. And then if we have appropriated process, then they just follow the process and that's it, and that way anything that should be communicated is actually communicated. So that's about that. Leader without authority, this is more relevant for workroom scenarios and when there are more than 2 people involved. If you are nice and confident and you make people feel at ease and project and everything is under control facade, then people will listen to you and follow your lead. How do you practice it? By managing meetings, either sync meetings at work or demos, etc. Once you do it in your day-to-day, you manage your ability to lead without authority if you're not the team leader, for example. And then once, again, in the money time, people will listen to you during crisis times. And last but not least, I think this is the most really important trait of it all. You can't do anything that I'm showing in this presentation without this trait: to care. If you don't care, really, you can't do anything. You can't be proactive, you can't do literally anything. And how can you improve care? So you can. Get more involved. If you get more involved, if you ask the questions that help you find your motivation, then you are able to find what motivates you, find the way for you to care, and then you can do all the things that I'm showing in this presentation and more. Okay, so let's do a recap of what we covered until now. We covered the mindset, the business mindset that we should have doing managing incidents and even on the day-to-day. We covered an incident flow, a structured process to help us manage incidents, and we covered on-call traits to be a better incident managers. Now I'm going to showcase here how can we be proactive in the day-to-day and after an incident took place that will help us come prepared for incidents. And why do we need to come prepared for incidents? Because, as the Fugees said, ready or not, here they come, you can hide. Same thing. PagerDuty, Opsgenie, or you're up here, doesn't care if you are prepared or not, they will find you. So better come prepared. Okay, so what can we do after the fact, after an incident took place? On-call shifts handoffs. I'm not sure if this is something that is being done in companies worldwide, but this is something that is helpful not only when you work with overseas teams or not. On-call shift handoffs, meaning that once you have a shift, your shift could be a week, could be a day, it doesn't matter. Once you finish a shift, you write a summary in Slack with things that happen during the shift, meaning I suppressed false positive alert, I had recurrent issue, alert X is waiting for dev to check it out. So write your shift summary so your team members will benefit from it for their on-call, because that way they'll be prepared for their on-call, because maybe they will see something that happened in your shift and they will know it is recurring and it saves them time to debug. They understand it is a recurring issue, so it means that they need to address it differently, for example. And also for you, if someone writes, no, it's for the other slide, strike that, I will mention it later. So for your team member success and for audit purposes, maybe you need to search about it in Slack afterwards, so it will be there and kept there for audit as well. Post-mortem notes, as I mentioned, write them as soon as possible while it's still fresh in your mind, so that way the post-mortem meeting will be much more efficient. And even if there's no meeting, do a mental check with yourself. Do a retrospective with yourself of what you could have done better, and I'm sure you'll have some insightful things that you could think of that will help you come prepared for the next incident. New tasks, anything that comes to mind to prevent the next incident or to stabilize the environment, this is the time to open them and address them and then make your environment stable bit by bit. Modify alerts. Please fix the false positive alerts. Don't wait for the next on-call to do it, because they will wait for the next on-call to do it, and they will wait for the next on-call to do it, and it will never happen. So please do it. Nobody wants burnout and to chase alerts, so it will help everyone. Incident runbooks, as I mentioned before, make sure they exist and that they are up to date. Automation, maybe you can find any candidates for self-remediation that will prevent incidents because they were handled before. And if the issue was handled, awesome, share the knowledge more in depth than the on-call handoff, because that way people can learn the system flows through this incident, learn from your line of thought. Again, win-win for everyone. On your day-to-day, what can you do? So the same on-call shift handoffs that I mentioned before, that you need to write it after you finish the shift. This bullet is about reading your team members' on-call shift handoffs on an ongoing basis. And why is that? Because production happens all the time, not only when you're on call, right? So you should know what's going on in a daily basis to help you come prepared for the environment state, to know what's going on there. So it will help you, and it shouldn't be long. It should be like just I don't know, 1 or 2 paragraph stops, so it should be easy enough to read it on a daily basis. Escalation point of contact. You know, I assume, the needed pieces of information related to your realm. For example, my realm is infrastructure. The bullet here is about the fact that you should also know other realms as well and have the full picture. So for example, we have an issue with the X. I checked the infrastructure, everything looks okay, but then in order to escalate, I need to know who to escalate to, right? Who's responsible from the dev side on service X? If I don't know about it, I need to wake my team leader up just to ask, hey, who's responsible for X? Sucks for them and sucks for me, right? So we can avoid that. We can upfront, during the day-to-day, know who's the escalation point of contact for different services that we manage and that we need to escalate to. And that way, during the money time, we save time during the incident, and we don't need to wake unnecessary people to know who to escalate to. Understand system architecture. If we know the weaker areas of the system that we manage, vulnerabilities, any sensitive or blast threat is scoped, it will help us both detect the issues and also know how to fix them when it happens, because these are the things that are more prone to errors and to get hurt, let's say. So if we know that, we are able to fix them more easily when something happens. Learn application flows. This differs from the previous bullet because understand system architecture is the system itself, and then learn application flows, it is between systems. So if we know the application flows, if we know the chain of events when something happens between the various systems that we manage, then we are able to detect things more quickly, work based on the methodical structure that I showed before. It will help with debugging to do it much more quickly, etc. And also, it will help you incorporate the business mindset because you will be able to understand if escalation is even needed, if this issue is actually an incident, etc. Team members' tasks. As I mentioned on the first bullet about the on-call summary, the production stuff that happens on production happens all the time on changes on your tasks, but also on team members' tasks. So make sure that you know what your other team members are doing to see if they have changes that impact production, and also deployment changes in production, because the team members' tasks are maybe things that impact production, but deployments or changes in production are a definite change. So make sure you are aware of both, because again, we need to know what's going on and not get surprised and blindsided when something happens during an incident. And last but not least, be a go-to person if you want to. It takes time, but if you are a go-to person, as they say, if you build it, they will come. It will help you to get push notifications and decrease the need to fetch the updates on your own, because people will come to you for consultation to tell you what they did, etc. So, in order to navigate the chaos that is called production, a holistic approach to it, as I showed here, is that if you incorporate the business mindset, if you make it a structured process, if you have your qualities in check, and you are proactive, then it will help you come prepared to any incident that will cross your way, and hopefully also prevent the next incident from happening. And remember, less incidents means less downtime, means business success, which is eventually your success, plus you get to preserve much needed hours of sleep. Thank you very much.